Hello ladies and gentlemen, Devon from DCON here, and this is Astell Kern's first desktop amplifier. This is from their ACRO line and is the L1000 model. The entire amplifier is made from an aluminum alloy and has nice weight to it, as it comes in at just over 2 pounds. It is 4.4 inches in width by 6.29 inches in height by 4.43 inches in depth. This amplifier is one of the coolest designs I've ever seen, as it sits at a 30-degree angle, rather than your traditional 0 or 90-degree angle. This allows the amplifier to be more comfortable to use as your hands are in a more natural position. The design of the amplifier is essentially your basic square amplifier with a cylindrical volume knob brought together to create an aesthetically nice looking piece. The cylindrical aspect of the amplifier is demarcated by these chamfered edges and is the base for the volume knob. The volume knob is absolutely gorgeous. It is just over 3.75 inches in diameter, and the top of the knob is slightly raised around the periphery, allowing the middle part to sink in slightly. It is smooth to the touch and is a nice contrast to the side of the knob, which is heavily knurled. This knurled surface is not only gorgeous to look at, but it also has a great feel and allows for fine control when adjusting the volume. Sandwiched between the volume knob and the cylindrical base is this red LED ring. This LED ring is purely aesthetic and serves no functional purpose, but kudos to Astell Kern for making it red. Arcing around the volume knob is 12 LED lights, 11 of which indicate the volume, and the first LED indicates which filter is activated. To select a filter, there's a dedicated button on the left side, and there's 3 different filters, each of which is differentiated by an accompanying color. Blue is for a more neutral or flat sound, green is for an increased low end and punchier bass, and red is a high gain filter which provides more power to high impedance headphones. With both headphones or speakers, I couldn't really tell a difference among the 3 filters, but the option is there for people who can. Adjacent to the filter selector is the main headphone outputs. There's a 6.3mm headphone output for your traditional over-the-ear headphones, a 3.5mm headphone output for your in-ear monitors, and is almost too powerful for IEMs, as my Shure SE846s were at a comfortable setting on just the first volume level. Compare this to the Grado GS1000Is, which required more power and were comfortable at the 6th volume level. Around back, there's a balanced XLR output, which is a welcome addition as it is rarely seen on an amplifier under $1,000. Along the base, we have our power input and USB input. The USB input is the sole audio input and is where all the analog conversion takes place. This amplifier has 2 AK4490 DACs built in, each utilized for their respective channel. Dual DACs provide for a much more refined sound and allow for less distortion when compared to their single DAC counterparts. Along with the DAC is a 32-bit CPU, which allows for enough processing power to decode 32-bit audio and DSD tracks without a hitch. A unique thing about this amplifier is its ability to power stereo speakers. There's gold-plated binding posts on the rear to connect left and right speakers. The power output is limited to 15 watts however, so you'll want to stick with passive speakers designed for desktop use, such as audio engines or Astell Kern's very own ACRO speakers, which are designed to be a perfect match with the amplifier. The amplifier powers the accompanying ACRO speakers nicely and gets plenty loud without losing any resolve and providing plenty of detail whether at normal or max volume. Quickly, I wanted to mention this little switch here. The switch is a major plus for me, as I generally like having my headphones plugged in at all times, without having audio pass through them. This switch allows you to toggle between headphone or speaker output. And thanks to the angled design of the amplifier, the switch is easy to reach and operate blindly. During my listening test, I was consistently impressed by how well this amplifier performed. It drove my Grados with ease, but not only that, it calmed them down immensely. Grados, especially their Statement series, are known for being on the bright side and rather fatiguing, but this amplifier brought them to a much more comfortable level. The dual DACs are very impressive, and to my ear, is a major improvement on the single DAC design. There's little to no distortion, and the background is so clean, it is as if you're in a vacuum listening to a pair of headphones. They're articulate and accurate without collapsing on itself during demanding tracks. And every instrument makes their presence known without being overbearing. I've been extremely positive on this amplifier, but there's a few things I don't like. The first thing I dislike is the weight of the amplifier. And it's probably not what you're thinking. I actually wish the amplifier was heavier, as it tends to move around slightly when I plug headphones in. The second thing I dislike is the USB input. Astell Kern implemented micro USB as the interface between the computer and amplifier, and I would have liked to have seen USB Type-C implemented, but that's a minor personal nitpick as it doesn't necessarily matter. And lastly, I dislike the lack of input options. It would have been nice to have had phono, optical, or coaxial inputs for connecting a turntable or any other dedicated home theater sources. So who's this amplifier for? It's priced at $899 and will more than likely be out of your average consumer's price range and fall into audiophile territory. Having said that, this amplifier is an absolute steal at its price point. The overall design, the solid craftsmanship, the dual DACs, the ability to run stereo speakers, and the option to have balanced outputs definitely make this highly recommended for the under $1,000 market. Well, that wraps up this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please send me your likes. If you enjoy my content, send me your subs. And as always, thank you for stopping by. I'll see you next time.